The rains are here and the floods have followed. There's destruction, there's disaster. Accra is recording one of its worst cases of flooding. And this has been happening every year, actually, for the past 5-6 decades or since records started. And if you look at the Daily Graphic reportage of the 60s, it's as similar as what is happening today, except that the vehicles are different. Those ones I saw in those pictures at the time were standing on the road. These ones are in the drains. On Face to Face today, we have come to have a conversation with a Deputy National Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization to ask what preventive measures were put in place and how come these failed and what post effects are being put in place. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. You're welcome to Face to Face. My guest is a politician, a youth activist, and a Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Abu Ramadan. You're welcome.
Thank you.
To Face to Face.
Thank you, Umaru.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You're looking refreshed for someone who is busy running after floods.
I rather look tired.
Well, it must be a very... How long have you been here for?
Since 2017.
So you've been seeing this for close to 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
You should get used to it.
There's nothing good at getting used to disasters.
I know, right? I know. I'll talk about a disaster. By the time I see you, I remember a number of things. I remember, and because the PNC is in turmoil again, I remember that you were once the national youth organizer of the PNC, and you ran away from the party. Looking at the party from outside, how does that make you feel, considering that your dad was a chairman? It's a party that is almost like in your family. I
saw it coming, and I believe that was the more reason why my dad also didn't go for re-election. And it was something that was bound to happen because people had turned the party into a personal business. People have taken the party as a business venture for themselves, and there wasn't any proper cohesion, no proper structure moving on. After our Congress in Sunyani, I didn't see the structure working anymore, and I felt I shouldn't waste my time and my political future here.
It's one of the old parties, isn't it? It's won an election before, national election under Hila Liman.
Yes, but not the PNC.
So it's not this current PNC,
yes,
but it's the same thing that changed to become this.
Yes.
You had, at a point you had like 4 members of parliament.
Yes.
What went wrong with the PNC?
A myriad of issues, personal issues, personal interest. And the PNC largely became a breeding ground for the major political parties too as well. So there was this political rivalry within one party but 2 separate interests. When you profess a solution to a problem, people read political meanings into it. They feel this solution you're bringing is as a result of your interest you have in this major party. So we had that problem with the major parties.
So they're fighting ground for the parties, and they also come to harvest people. The MPP came to harvest you.
Oh no, I went into the MPP.
It's the same thing. It's the same. What do you think? And you're a politician. You've been doing policies from your student days. The 2-party system appears to be what we have de facto, even though it's not what the law says. Do you ever see any of the smaller parties breaking ranks?
It will take a long while. It will take a long while because it looks as if the smaller parties themselves are not taking themselves serious to give that sort of competition. And if there is anything to go by, we saw the likes of Dr. Indum and his PNP, the PPP when they came into the fray.
It was very vibrant.
Very vibrant. I thought it was going to make a real impact, but the election results showed us that it will be difficult to create a third force. The only way a third force can exist if all the smaller parties come together and they decide they won't allow the bigger parties to infiltrate and have an interest. Control. And there is no way that will happen. Because in the game of politics, you would always have overtures to other parties in terms of interest. If you remember when the NDC was in government, whenever there's an IPAC meeting, they are quick to say, there are more than 22 parties in Ghana, because they know at that time they will call the small ones in support. So that's the only way we can have a proper third force. But if not, the status quo would Is
it not the case that the Ghanaian voter simply doesn't want a third force? Because Indum did so much with the CPP, and even when he went to the PPP, he did so much, and yet nothing happened. Your party, I don't know, Edward Mahama has been there since 96. I mean, nothing really. Yakube is all you've been saying, and we didn't see much. And I think Abu Sakara also showed promise with the CPP at a point, but then everything just... Maybe Ghanaians don't simply want a third party.
That's why the MPP were trying hard to make sure that this time around, if Ghanaians are not willing for the third force, let's present a situation where we have one party run the activities of this country beyond an 8-year tenure. Where we would have
so
a party.
Been breaking it from two party to one party?
Yes. No, not one party, not a monopoly. Not to say we are just going to have a one party state, but to have a party, one government that will be consistent beyond the 8-year period, to have maybe probably 16 years of continuous governance where the economic fundamentals will be set right properly. Because the continuous stay of a party in government sometimes helps in the economic development.
That's what Kwame Nkrumah wanted to do, and you said he was a dictator and everything was bringing one party.
It depends on how it's done.
Are you sure? It depends. If it's not MPP who is doing it, it's not good.
No, not really. But Umaru, it depends on how it's done.
Rawlings did it from 81 to 90.
The Public Detention Act added to the agitations against Nkrumah. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on how it is done. If it is done in a manner where the principles of democracy still exist, where there's free, fair elections, where there's open, the media is allowed to do its work, you don't curtail the media, it will be good for our country. And if you've noticed, over the last, since 92, after 8 years, a government is taken out, a new government comes, it says, my vision is this. So I'm moving away economically, changing the economic direction. I have the better solution. We end up going through that cycle for another 4 years, 8 years. Then another party comes and we are also changing. So because of that, we are finding it difficult to build the economic bricks of this country properly.
Is it not because they say you politicians are like diapers and you have to be changed as often as possible, otherwise you would start stinking?
That's a school of thought that we can debate. But I
don't. But you were holding a position in PNC. You joined MPP. You didn't get anything. You were running AFAC, but you didn't get any executive position. Why? If you truly wanted to, like Freddie Blay, you should have taken up a position in the IPP.
I think the time is not right. I'm a career politician. The time is not right for me to say I'm going to contest for any position within the MPP. And I'm a new entrant within the party. It will take time for you to build a base, to build that bond between yourself and the party, rank and file. And for that matter, at the right time, we would.
Let's move from political parties to activism. So pressure groups. You were leading one of them, AFAG.
Yeah.
You even went to court on the voter register. You were very active, always on the road demonstrating. Now you are in power. Obviously, we didn't expect you to be demonstrating. Why? Is it that the challenges you outlined under Mahama are no more? Because clearly they are there, aren't they?
Yeah, it is the approach to the solution, to solving the problem.
Explain.
So, for instance, when we were in government, I remember once, when we were in opposition, we wanted to embark on a demonstration with regards to increments in petroleum prices. We met with the president, the current president now, and we're discussing the issues. We discussed at length. And we are of the view that we are saying no more increments. We won't tolerate any more increments because of the hardship it brings. And the president said, listen, you can't say no to petrol increments because it has to do with a lot of factors. If you say no more, but you can say, mitigate the impact of it. Let's be sure we don't do over increase so that it will affect the people. So let's find a middle ground where we will call it, okay, let's be measured when we are increasing, let's stagger the increments. We should find, and now is what we are seeing. Until recently, if you be honest, until recently, when the economic crunch that's hitting the whole world started.
Sure?
The petrol price build-up was virtually minimal.
A gallon of petrol is 50 cedis. So when Mahama was leaving, it was not even half of that.
Yes, over what period? That's the question you asked.
Over just 6 years?
No, you don't say over 6 years. You say over the last 2 years, over the last year after COVID, when the country was trying to reset itself. I tell people COVID came to reset the whole world, to recalibrate the whole world.
But some countries are flying.
Which country?
Oh, every country is
with Umaru. There is no country in this world.
When was the last time you traveled?
Oh, I was in the States a month ago.
And when you went to the United States?
Okay, so for instance,
you've seen an increase in petrol price.
Yes, for instance,
that high because of COVID.
For instance, my friend, or I call him a brother, who I stay with mostly when I'm in the States. A year and a half ago, when I was there, before the total lockdown of the United States, when I went there, I used to buy fuel worth $42 to fill a tank. At that time, he was using a Toyota Highlander. When I went a month ago, it cost him $78 to fill that same vehicle.
Okay.
To fill that same vehicle. And this is even in a filling station that the price is even lowered. When I was coming, I bought a couple of newspapers that were talking about price increases. And Umaru, mortgage is heavily affected, and it is projected in the United States that given the next 6-7 months, if they are not careful, based on the way the mortgage market is being hit, people will become hopeless. The number of people that will become homeless will be more than us anticipated. And U.S. is having, for the first time, its worst inflation in over 30 years.
I see.
It has affected everybody.
Have you also checked what Joe Biden's government's interventions have been in that?
Yes, in terms of petroleum.
And have you done the same for the people of Ghana?
Yeah, so the circumstances are different.
No,
for instance,
so now you're shifting it all.
No, I'm not shifting.
Okay,
in terms of petroleum, America has petroleum reserves that it keeps. So it says to marketing companies that are going out to buy and come and sell to the American people, that we are reducing the price of petrol that you must go out and buy without charging you some import charges. Government is giving you a cut on it. Come and take from government and sell to the people directly. So the prices were shut down a little bit. Even so, it wasn't fully sustainable. It wasn't fully sustainable. As I'm talking to you now, the prices are back up again. They've started rising gradually again. It is mentioned in another country, Umaru, and you realize that the whole world is affected by COVID, is affected by the Ukraine-Russian war. Ukraine-Russia war, we can't run away from. It has affected the entire continent.
It's become a convenient point for you to refer to the government, isn't it?
You know, it has become a convenient point for us to refer to the world being a global village. At first, when you are making a call to America,
so that every mess you make, you just attribute it to
Ghana won't go to war with Togo and expect America to feel the impact of it. Togo won't go to war with Nigeria and expect America to feel the impact of it. But let America go to war with China. The whole world will feel the impact of it.
So at the time, when you were going to demonstrate, Akufo-Addo, the candidate, then said to you that don't demand that there should be no increase, but
because
demand that
you should make realistic demands. You should make realistic demands.
You think that the increase we are seeing now are realistic increases?
So what is the alternative?
That 50 Ghana cedis for a gallon of petrol.
Umaru, what is the alternative?
You take off the taxes on the gallon or on the liter of fuel.
So when government takes all the taxes off, how does government generate revenue to also develop?
But you said to us you won't come and tax us. That's what you said when you were campaigning.
I'm not sure that was the promise.
Oh, there was a refrain that you're going to move us from taxation to production.
So it's a policy direction that
instead of failing to find its way.
Instead of burdening the ordinary Ghanaian with taxes, let's find a more innovative way.
Thank you.
Let's find a more innovative.
You just made my point for me. So the lazy man's approach is taxing the liter of fuel. That is what you are doing still.
I won't call it a lazy man's approach. It's a way to go.
That's what Muhammad was doing. He said that
Umaru,
we're going to move from taxing the people to production. You are not producing.
Currently, there are in excess of 143 factories that have been set up.
It has not reflected on how much I pay for my fuel.
It's just like free education. Today, you are feeling the impact of it, but minute impact of it. You are not feeling the real impact of free education.
Really?
But give Ghana the next 5, 7 to 10 years. Umaru, the impact it will have on the Ghanaian economy will be marvelous. Because at that time, the chunk of the Ghanaian population will be well educated. More avenues for jobs, more avenues for people to also benefit, as compared to the current state where we have a very small number educated and a huge number not educated. If you are well educated, it helps you improve your business. It helps you, it drives the economy too as well. So the larger impact is a long-term. So free education is a long-term project that Ghana will feel the impact in the long term. Not today, not maybe in the life of Akufo-Addo's government, but probably beyond the life of Akufo-Addo's government.
If you were leader of AFAG today, would you go on the street with your people to demonstrate?
Why are the other groups not on the street?
No, I'm asking you. I want to know.
No, I'm asking.
You have the experience of demonstrating. I just want to know. I want to ask. I'm trying to get something out. If you were still the leader of AFAG today, would you lead a demonstration against the current state of it?
Times have changed. There are many ways of protesting, not necessarily going out to demonstrate on the street. There are more innovative ways of now doing it as compared to the past.
What I just mean is
social media.
So what I mean is that if you were still a leader of a pressure group now, would you protest? And that doesn't mean by boot. You could protest with your pen or whatever. Do you consider the current economic situation worth protesting against?
I don't, because
why?
I don't, because I don't see it fundamentally a problem that has to do with the lack of competence of the government.
Explain.
Meaning our economy has been on a good footing since we came into power in 2017.
Are you sure? Have you seen the Citi?
No.
Go ahead.
No, Umaru. You see, you can't start a building and just have a house standing. You must start with the foundation. You must now put the block on block. You get to lintel, run the concrete work, and
for
do
6
the floor.
years, you are still at foundation level.
No. We've gone past that until COVID, until Ukraine and Russia. The economy was on the right track. The rate of depreciation had been stabilized for a long period, which, if you remember before, was not the case. And because of these factors today, we're seeing, yes, I would say inflation, where it is not on a good footing. But before these things hit us, before the Ukrainian war, Russia-Ukraine war, before COVID hit the country, and during COVID, Umaru, would you imagine that during COVID, because of the economic achievements we've made, already the gains we've made, and the projection in the future, if government had said, let me safeguard those economic gains, rather than thinking about the lives of the ordinary people, do you understand? Can you imagine the collateral cost of that decision as compared to what government said? And the president, if I may quote him, he says, we know how to bring an economy back to life.
You have not brought it back still.
But it doesn't take a day. We know how to bring the economy back to life, but not a human being when the life is lost. So government continued. Public servants were paid. Civil servants were paid. Salaries were paid. People were given free water. People were given free electricity. Those policies at that time, government didn't think of safeguarding the economic fundamentals. That the successes that choked. So all he wanted was, let us save lives and property. Let's make sure that we have a people to come back to and come and work for the economy to come back. And that's what government.
So if you were leader of a pressure group now, based on these things, you would think that it's not worth demonstrating against. Unemployment is a big problem. Your manifesto for 2016 said an agenda for jobs. People are still jobless, and it may even be worse. People Umaru, you have put on the NADMO, you have had to push them back because you can't get the system to absorb them.
NADMO is not all the 100,000 that have been pushed back. Majority of them have been absorbed into various agencies.
Over 70% have had to be re-engaged to remain on the NADMO because you have nowhere to absorb them.
I can't speak to the 70%.
Well, I interviewed the CEO.
The CEO of NADMO.
So I have a rough idea. I don't have the specific
that was when?
But that was when? That was just during the time that the extension was given.
But Umar, I'm telling you, I know institutions that have absorbed NADMO staff. And even if majority of them have not been absorbed, today, the private sector will be willing to employ those people because they have job experience.
It's willing, but it cannot.
No, hitherto they didn't have.
Yes.
Government is still in the process. And you see, every graduate thinks that the best thing for me to do is to get a government job. Every graduate wants to work in the government institution. Every graduate wants to work in government.
No. Some just want you to put the proper avenues in place so that they can create their own job and do.
Because of job security
and
all of that, everybody wants to be in the government sector. But government cannot do all. Before, hitherto, we had a government in place that for 3.5 to 4 years, there was a freeze on employment. Government itself couldn't hire. People were retiring. We couldn't replace properly. Those who retired were being replaced, and in a whole year, if you have about 10, 20 people retiring from an institution, the institution is employing only 10 or 20 people. I remember during the Mahama era, government came out and said it was employing 3,000 people that fiscal year as a result of projections of those who were going to retire. This is a situation where in the last 7 years, the number of teachers that have been employed, graduate teacher trainees that have been employed, nurses that have been employed, in the military, the police, every sector of government business, the level, and even today, as of last week, the Ghana Armed Forces have still advertised. So even in the difficult economic situation, government is still in the process of.
So on unemployment, you would also not demonstrate. Finally, on security, would you demonstrate over the current state of security?
Our security is one of the best you can get in.
Are you sure? Have you seen what happened in Kranza?
Umaru.
Have you seen what happened in
Umaru? Those ones you can make reference to the fact that those are individual security personnel. There was a robbery incident. The video has gone viral just last night, where 2 men on a motorbike pushed an elderly woman and snatched her purse. Did you see that? That video is running. It's trending all over. We are talking about that video because it's been captured on camera.
Yes.
There are a lot of cases of that nature. But when I give thumbs up to the security setup of this country, as much as possible, there are a lot of things that happen. I'm also part of the security setup of this country. I know the work that goes into what they do, and they are doing a tremendous job for this country.
So security is good.
And that's
so there's nothing you demonstrate on if you were in opposition today.
No, I never demonstrated on security of the country. I don't remember ever doing.
Oh, are you sure you were fighting over your boy whose eye was removed?
No, that was as a result of the demonstration.
Okay.
When they brought in the NDC food soldiers.
No, I'm just saying that as pressure groups, you demonstrate a number of things. So I'm just saying that. So there's nothing.
I don't remember demonstrating on security. So that's why that failed.
You were mostly demonstrating against electoral issues.
Economic hardship and
electoral issues. Yeah. And you don't see anything wrong now.
No, security. Let's praise our security personnel. The national security, Ghana Armed Forces. They are keeping this country safe. And the work they are doing on the borders, Umaru, you marvel when they put you behind the scenes and you go around with them. And I'm sure you are aware. You are aware of the good work they are doing.
This is Face to Face on Citi TV. My name is Umaru, Sanda, and my guest is Abu Ramadan. We're supposed to discuss the floods in Accra and indeed Ghana, but we just have to start off from his political side of things. When we come back, we'll talk about the situation that we are witnessing. Very, very dangerous, although cyclical. You're welcome back to Face on Citi TV. It's just been a few days of rain, and you can even say a few hours of rain, and Accra has flooded again. The man whose job, well, one of the men whose job it is to ensure that Accra, and for that matter Ghana, does not flood, is Abu Ramadan. He's Deputy Director General of NADMO. He's my guest on Face to Face. You're welcome back. Now, why are we still talking about flooding after 60 years of existence as a country?
Umaru, it's a difficult question to answer. I believe we'll repeatedly talk about flooding every year. Where I sit, and I'll beg of you, if you remember, or if you can recollect from the top of your head, all the footages you've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 years, all the footages you've seen that have to do with flooding, what is the constant thing you see in those footages? Filth, rubbish,
debris.
Every time, and that is the bane of our problem. People would go and go to the refrigerator shop where the refrigerator repairer cannot repair the fridges. They've dumped them instead of disposing of those fridges properly. At midnight, they'll carry those fridges, go and dump them in the drain. They'll dump car tires in the drain. People are throwing rubbish in the drain. Every now and then, we are dumping things in the same drain that is created for just carrying water. Now, when it rains, that culvert or that bridge that is supposed to hold, presumably, let's say, 1 million cubic feet of water per minute or per second, now is supposed to hold water together with the debris, that filth or that fridge or that tire we've sent. Now, when it goes, so let's say the culvert is round like this. When it goes, there are two of them. The center, water doesn't flow, so it must go through the two holes. So they go and hit here. They are held here. As the rubbish keeps coming, keeps piling, now it seals the two holes that water is supposed to go through. What will water do? It will find its level. It will now come over the bridge, then now find its own level. I think to deal with the drainage problem properly, we need to tackle the filth situation first.
You see, I'm sure you identify that. That is why your overall boss, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, created for the first time a ministry for sanitation. So 6 years on, if you are crying over sanitation issues, then that's a governmental failure.
Umaru,
you have ministry for environment. That's supposed to deal with
are you aware we have all the good laws in this country?
Yes, I do.
We don't need to create new laws.
Yeah, we needed strong men to execute those laws. And you said you were the strong men and you came in. And nothing is happening.
Those same laws, I'm sure Umaru will be the first person who will scream.
No.
When assembly moves with a dozer to go and demolish illegal structures that are sitting on waterway.
Yes.
What will be the cry of the media? Oh, yes, it's good to do that. And they will say that during the dry season. During the rainy season, we can't demolish. NADMO doesn't even have the power to demolish. It's the assemblies that have the power to demolish. During the rainy season, the assemblies can't demolish. So during the dry season, we forget so quickly that this place is a flood-prone area. When we go and we intend to demolish, the first thing media will say, add a human face to it small. Try and now relocate the people small before you come. Before you realize you've gone through a full cycle. That process of relocating, you've gone through a full cycle. and come back to the same problem again.
And you know why? Because you were sitting there watching aloof as they put up those buildings and waterways. You should have prevented it from the beginning. If there's a Ramsar site that's supposed to have no building, and yet you sell it to people and these people fill it up and then put up buildings, that would mean you were reckless.
Umaru, Ramsar site. I remember in 2017, it was one of the first sites I visited. When I went there, I looked at the extent, I looked at the plan itself. I spoke to the Forestry Commission, I spoke to the wildlife people, and one question I asked myself, why would we do that to ourselves? Why would we go pouring debris there in the name of filling to occupy those
Did you see
areas?
Sir John's land when you went? He was a CEO of Forestry Commission at the time when you went. Apparently, and according to the will that is in circulation, he has a land there.
Sir John has a land there? I'm not aware.
Oh, you haven't seen what's on?
I've
Okay,
not.
interesting. Let's proceed.
I've not. But and at that time, my point was, why would we do? I went to ECG and I told them, can you stop providing meters for those illegal structures that are being put up? And they said, by their law, they are supposed to provide meters wherever the request comes from. They can't deprive a citizen of electricity. They must provide it. So long as they have the power setting, they must evacuate and give to the people. We tried several means to try and prevent the people. It looks as if those there do it in the middle of the night. Currently, some few people who were displaced, when I went there with the Minister of Works and Housing, from what I hear, an assembly member, a senior assembly member who's been there for some time, has rented a portion of the Ramsar site to people for 50 cedis a month.
To do what?
To live there.
So they have containers or kiosks?
They have small kiosks and containers. They live there and he's charging 50 cedis a month. He has in excess of about 300 people living there. In a month, he's making over 14,000 Ghana cedis every month.
From an illegality?
From an illegality.
You went to see him. Did you leave him there?
No. We didn't see him, but that was a report. That was a report from my district officer. So the next question I asked, what is the assembly doing about it? So I told him he needs to indicate that in the report. Myself and Archibald, we were discussing amongst ourselves, and it's part of the report I'm putting together for the Director General for a decision to be taken and forward it properly to the Ministry of Interior, which is our supervising ministry, to look at how we can deal with this issue. If it is national security that must go into, and it's a notorious assembly. When you go there, Umaru, you don't need me to take you. When you go there and you find out, you know that this assemblyman is responsible for major of the problems.
Where is this?
Tema, I'm talking about Tema.
The
Sakumono area. We went there and people were displaced. These are people who are paid 50 cedis. But now, as a result of the displacement, it has become the burden of...
Can't NADMO demolish?
By law, we can't.
Why?
We don't have... It's the assemblies that have the power to demolish.
Your law hasn't given you that power?
No. So what the law gives us the power to do, we have district or municipal disaster management committees chaired by the DCE or the MCE with our NADMO director as the secretary to the committee. It's just a photocopy of the DISEC or MUSEC. It's just a photocopy. The same institutions form the Emergency Disaster Management Committee. So a report should emanate from the District Disaster Management Committee to the Assembly. Then now the Assembly, as a result of that report, will now put to vote and approval should be given to the Assembly for demolition of any structure. It is not the work of NADMO. We can facilitate through the provision of excavators if we have them available and tip trucks to load the debris away. We can facilitate that, but it is not our mandate.
What is your level of collaboration with the Ministry of Works and Housing? You are not under Works and Housing.
No, we are under Interior. Yes.
So what collaborations do you have? So who do you work with in trying to ensure we don't have disasters in Ghana?
The silting of drains. That is, they are a major partner.
That's Works
and Housing, yes. The silting of drains and building of drains. We collaborate
so you work with highways and urban roads?
Yes, urban roads, highways, together with the Ministry of Local Government, because in most occasions, it goes it goes around. So that's where we come in with. But we don't have the mandate to go and build drains. We don't have it. It's for us to raise the issues with them. For instance, today we are concluding with a report that we want to send to the Ministry of Roads and Highways to ask Roads and Highways to look at the problem we have on our major interchanges. Whenever it rains, it seems to be flooding. What is the solution to that? For instance, just in front of University of Ghana, today we had to send a team there to go and pump water from the road onto the other side of the road and pump it out into the drain. Why should that be the case? We should find an easy solution where water can run naturally. And it's not just there. When you go to other footbridges, we have that problem there. Other highways that have bridges, and we have that problem. So we are putting together a comprehensive report to the ministry If the attention is not drawn, as a coordinating agency, we are drawing the attention. And what should be the mitigating plan for those areas?
Do you have a communication, an open communication with the Meteo agency? Did they tell you when the rains were going to come, and what measures do you put in place if you were told, or you don't?
No, we do. We have, and on daily basis, in the morning and the evening, we are sent updates. When there's a weather warning, that is to say, the Meteo agency find out in the next hour the rains are coming, they quickly send us an emergency weather warning, and we give that warning out to our people through the GOTA. We have BNC have provided us with these handsets, and it's in almost every district. So we notify those affected districts or the regions that will be affected of the impending rains, so that they will also be on alert. And on our own too as well, we do something we call pre-positioning, where we know the hotbeds when it comes to rains in Accra. So mostly we want to pre-position and put vehicles and men in those areas. But Umaru, when the heat of the rain, whilst it's pouring for 6-7 hours, the rain is continuous, there's very little we can do in terms of mitigating the impact of the flood. But all we can do whilst it's still raining is to rescue those who are in trouble. The water levels are still rising. That one, we can put the boats on the water to go into homes and bring those people out. But there's really much we can do about it until the water subsides. Then
so what kind of equipment do you deploy? So you have canoes or
No,
boats?
we have boats. We have speedboats.
Do you have enough?
Oh, we have almost about 15 speedboats.
In Accra alone?
We've pre-positioned 2 boats in the northern region, in Tamale, to be precise, to serve the northern and the northeast, which are the hotbeds when it comes to flooding. And the rest are all situated in Accra. We intend to
So Kumasi is not a flooding area?
No, it is, but for now, we are trying to zone Accra, Ghana into 3, where the northern sector will be taken care of by Tamale, Kumasi. So we are yet to do that pre-positioning arrangement in terms of the boats. But we have it, and for your information, we even have an ambulance. We have 2 ambulance boats that sits on the sea.
Really?
Yes, at the Tema port.
So you can bring them?
Yes, it does both hard and soft water. So we can also bring them inland when there's a problem. It's a fully kitted ambulance boat with every equipment in it.
Based at Tema?
It's in Tema, yes.
But it doesn't come inland?
So that's why I say that's hard and soft water.
Okay,
so it can be on the sea, it can be on a lake or a river where it is needed. We only need to transport it there.
But it's an ambulance?
It's an ambulance, yes.
You don't have a heli?
No, we don't. We don't have a heli.
So what is your relationship with the Ghana Navy? Because we see armed men sometimes. Not armed men, I mean uniformed men.
Yes. So what happens is we have a joint collaboration with the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces. And we even have we have equipment and vehicles sitting with them. So whenever the weather warning comes, they also put their men on standby. They deploy with us. Just this Saturday, we deployed together with the 48th. It was on Sunday we deployed with the police navy, the police marine. We deployed with the police marine on Sunday, but Saturday we did with the 48th, and that's the normal routine.
So when you go out, typically during the rain, you just do rescue efforts.
Yes.
So you know which areas to go to rescue people.
Precisely.
Do you pre-tell the people where to go to ahead of the rains?
Yes. So in the various districts. For
instance, give me a locality and tell me where the people are supposed to converge.
So for instance, let me give you a place I'm very familiar with.
Please go ahead.
Which is a hotbed in Chado, where I visited. Let me not say that is the exact. Yes, so where I visited recently. That whole enclave that got flooded. If the district would earmark a location for a safe haven for them, it will certainly not be down. You know the Guel filling station area.
Yeah.
Heading towards Randy's enclave. So it will not be down the Randy side. It will be up the road where it's higher.
Okay.
So in effect, we have identified safe havens in almost every district across the country.
When should people know, and how do people have to know that, okay, this rain is going to cause chaos, so let me start moving out of my house? And how is the movement out of the house itself? It's going to be problematic.
Umaru, naturally, I tell people, naturally, when the rain starts falling, and after 30-45 minutes, this rain, the pressure with which it is coming is not reducing, it's not stopping. And it goes beyond an hour. If I know I'm in a low-lying area, I should be getting ready to at least move out. Not to leave entirely, but to be in readiness to even step out, even with my vehicle, out of the neighborhood, to take me where it's safe. After an hour of rain, naturally, you should know.
But we see vehicles also in drains. It's not even safe to use a vehicle during the rain.
Umaru, look, Saturday when we went for the rescue, Whilst we were there, the rains have subsided, the water levels were dropping. It was still raining though. This guy was driving a black SUV. He was coming. So I stopped him and I was like, boss, where are you going? So I'm going home. He said, where's your home? And he was showing me 3 houses away from where we're standing, where the water level is almost window level. And I asked him, boss, how do you go home to that home where you can't even get down from your vehicle? He said, oh, I'll park and wait. That sort of mentality. So yesterday after 30 minutes of rain when it started, an hour, I just gauged the strength of the rain. I told myself, no, I should get ready to go to work. I'm not going to have a good night's sleep. I should get ready to go to work. And that is what happened. That is what happened. And truly, my projection came in. Quickly, I called my EOC and told them, are you guys ready? We might have a problem again. I called my operational staff. I said, are you ready? Called my director general and said, boss, you need to ready yourself. We might be called again. So put all the phone calls. Now I was waiting until this dawn when I left the house and came to make sure that the deployment that is being done properly.
Do you have emergency numbers?
We do. We do have emergency numbers. We have almost about 3 or 4 emergency numbers that and it's known to the general public. But now, because of government's arrangement, we have a 112.
So that comes to you as well?
Yes, that is centralized. Now, the 112, when you call, and it's a NADMO phone call, it comes directly to our EOC. And even if the call comes to our EOC and it's not meant for NADMO, it is redirected. There's a system that picks it. It will redirect it. So if it is for police, it will be rerouted straight to police for them to respond to. And we have most of the calls coming.
So in the specific case of this weekend, what happened? Do you do a post-mortem and say, okay, we realize that ABC, this is what caused the problem, or you're anticipating the flooding? And this includes Monday as well. And even A-Life, let me use A-Life Greater Estate as an example. The district is here to submit a report to us. And you know the bureaucracy. It must go through the district to the region, then to the head office. But in terms of when we are in a disaster time, we tend to fast track it. But naturally, it had to do with the problem of the drain. The size of our drain, the size of the culvert, and the exit. So the drain starts at, let's say, 100 feet wide. As it's coming down. And it's coming down and it's supposed to terminate into the sea. But as it's coming down, before it gets to A-Life, it has reduced to about 20 or 30 feet. Because too small, too narrow.
Too narrow to carry the volumes of water that is bringing. Because people have encroached. People are building on those, they've reclaimed and they are building on it. And naturally, the contractors who are also doing it the assemblies are not enforcing the law for the contractors to be able to widen it by demolishing those structures. So that is the problem with that whole line. So when it happens that way, and we have a lot of debris, rubbish, trees that have been cut down, logs, that run with the water and come and choke at a certain point, now overflow. And that's the problem of A-Life, Greater Estate. That's the problem they face currently. So that place, we know that is so until we're able to widen, the Ministry of Works and Housing is able to widen the drain, carry out that re-engineering work. We'll always have that.
But that's also a lot of work. There's not a one-day job.
That's what I'm saying. So the remedy to the solution to the problem is a gradual and a long-term process.
Would it be fair to say then that as NADMO, you are just doing firefighting, you are not doing any prevention, which is part of your mandate?
I'm not sure we're doing firefighting.
What preventive measures have you put in place that have worked?
Readiness of our men. That's one. Making sure that our men are qualified enough to go into harsh weather conditions to help rescue lives and property. Just yesterday, just this rain, if not for the expertise of our men, we couldn't have rescued a mother and a 7-month-old baby who were trapped in their home. There was no hope for them. They were trapped virtually. There was no hope. And some part of their wall had caved in. That was around the Kwashiman area. Some part of their wall had caved in. So our men had to go in to rescue. So the readiness of our men and the equipments we put in place. In this world, there is no way you say there will be no disaster. There would be. But putting your men in prime, proper, ready condition to respond to the situation is one key factor.
So we cannot say we should not expect disaster this year. We can't say that.
No. Even in the most advanced countries in the world, you can't say the country is a disaster-free country.
So disaster is bound to happen this year.
It is bad, but the impact of it is what you are measured by. You are measured by the impact of it. So if you're able to mitigate the impact of it on the people, is how you are measured.
What was the impact these past few days? How have you dealt with it?
We're still assessing the financial cost so far. The assessment is still being done. And the cost to human life, happily, we didn't lose any.
How many people have you? Oh, we didn't lose.
We didn't lose any life as a result of the rains, both yesterday and today. The only incident where I'm yet to get a brief as to whether they found the body or not had nothing to do with the flood itself, but had to do with a situation in Tema where they felt the factory had been the reason for their flooding of the community, so they went attacking, and some of the staff of the factory jumped into the lagoon that connects into the Chemu. And one person also, two of them, they couldn't find. So the Marine Police, together with NADMO, went into to search for the person. I'm here to get a brief on that as whether the person was found.
When you rescue people the way you did with your boats, and do you know how many people you rescued recently this past week?
So far, I can't give you all the numbers, but I know we've rescued quite, not so many, but there shouldn't be more than 30 or 40 people.
When you rescue these people, where do you take them to?
Within the same community, they have friends, they have family that they easily identify with.
So it's not like take them to some camp somewhere. No. Okay.
In Accra, you don't have that sort of problem in Accra mostly. It is outside Accra that you have mostly that type of problem.
So you deploy, you rescue, and I was asking about the preventive part. You've explained to us the readiness of your men. Is there any point where the people who build on waterways, NADMO has gone to say A, B, C, D has to be removed, and you told the assembly, and the assembly has not done?
Oh no. For that one, if you want, I can provide you with a full dossier of places that, if not for the intervention of NADMO, it would have been worse. There are a lot of places within the industrial area of Accra. There are a lot of situations that we've gone in and prevented. Even the whole industrial area, if you remember, previously, when it rains heavily, we always have a flooding situation in front of ash foam, the North Industrial area. Yeah, the North Industrial. But now, lately, if you recall, the is more on a minimal now. You see the water running though, but you're not feeling the flooding as you used to. It has to do with some engineering work and some experts we send there to help the factories themselves resolve the problem, and that has brought some reprieve.
Many people think the Odo and other drains like the Kpeshi are the master solution, fixing them. Fixing these drains have been a decade-long issue. I remember during Muhammad's time, E&P was involved in the desilting. Constantly we are desilting the drain and we are still not seeing anything happening. What is the problem?
So that's why the Gary program is underway.
That's a Greater Accra Resilient
program. Is underway, and that should give us a lot of reprieve because
it's been there forever.
No. The Gary program is a recent one that was started under our government.
Really?
With the World Bank. Oh, it's a recent one.
I thought the Resilient Accra thing.
Oh, that one is there, but the World Bank too, is it $230 million or so, $1 million or so? That one started recently, where they identify some major culverts that must be replaced, like the one in Malam, that was, you remember the replacement of that? That brought some level of reprieve there with regards to the flooding. And the one opposite Akraka School. And now the major one, which is the Odo Basin itself. Are you aware that the amount of silt sitting in that basin, all the way from the top, not just a circle, all the way from the top. And it looks as if that basin has lost its gradients, such that when the water is flowing, you know, when there are proper gradients within the Odo Basin itself, it should generate some sort of, how do they call it, vortex or so, that would help hold on to some sand and hold on to some few other debris and allow the water to flow naturally. That is missing within the Odo Basin. And that Gary program is supposed to re-engineer the basin and introduce that, so that the speed at which the water will flow would be reduced, so that the impact of it down there wouldn't be felt. And it's a good initiative that we are hoping it would bring some reprieve.
But it has not ended.
No, it has not ended. I think it's supposed to be a 5-year program that is supposed to run. And currently, yesterday, I was listening to one of the consultants on it who was making reference to now, as part of World Bank laws, you can't just evict people. No, you must compensate. So even some part of the money that is meant for the project is now being used in compensation. So
the Odo clearly is not ready to host all the water coming from the northern side of
No, for now. Some dredge masters, I know they're doing some work on it. Yes. They are dredging some part.
They have always been there.
Yes.
Been there forever.
So that is helping. Without them, imagine the amount of silt that will be sitting there.
Whenever it rains, the Sahara area in Adabraka looks like a sea.
Yeah, because that place is low lying. That place is...
but you have a big drain like Odo passing through Sahara.
Umaru, properly. That Odona enclave should not have been allowed for habitation.
Really?
It's supposed to have been turned into a water basket where all the water that comes, the one that the Odo drain cannot hold, that enclave should be holding that water and releasing gradually into the sea, as the what's it called, the Ramsar site is doing. That is part of the Gary program. They are trying to identify common areas where they can expand and build those basins, so that when the water comes with the force, it can hold it and gradually now release into the sea, so that you won't have the full impact of.
But we have STC along that lane. We have the pedestrian shopping mall along that lane.
No.
That's really graphic.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't have allowed habitation there in the first place, if you ask me.
But you can have the fittest shops and all those things.
If that is habitation, you have fitting shops.
So it should have a green grass area.
Precisely. It should have been, if not a green, it should have been a pond, as we have.
So the banks of the Odo.
The banks, precisely.
So from circle towards the sea. There should be nothing along. How far in or out?
No, I can't give you because I'm not a technical. But even that small portion of where the pedestrian mall is and on the right hand side, even if a small area is carved out for that, it will reduce the impact across the graphic road.
Okay.
And we won't have the impact of it there.
This is Face to Face on Citi TV. My name is Umaru, Sanda. I'm here with Abu Ramadan, Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization. He's in charge of operations. When we come back, we'll talk about other aspects that NADMO has been dealing with aside the floods that we're witnessing, plus the problem on the National Road 1, or N1, if you like, the Kaswa Road, the West African Road. What's happening at Kaswa? You're welcome back to Face on Citi TV. Abu Ramadan is my guest, is Deputy NADMO boss. You've discussed Odo. Is the problem with the Kaswa Road beyond control? Because there's the mud now on the road, there's silt on the road. Like that road ceases to become a road as soon as it rains. Why?
It's baffling, but I think we need to be. That's why I say it all boils down to the assemblies. Umaru, I wish we could have a survey to look at the number, as the census, population housing census have done, to tell us the number of homes or houses that have legal building permits where they are situated. You'll be amazed, across board society, the number of illegal structures that have been put up all over. And that is the problem we have with that mountain. First, it was illegal sand winning of stones, harvesting of stones and selling. Then from there, we started having illegal constructions on the mountain. Then now, gradually, we started clearing the vegetation that was holding the whole mountain together. And that is what the problem we are having now. So we have always said that the solution to that problem is to green the place again. And Forestry Commission agrees with us. That is something that they need to look at, to re-green the place again.
And the assemblies?
It should be the responsibility of the assemblies to make sure that the place is green again. It should be. But for we as a coordinated agency, there isn't so much we can do. We can only prefer solution or advice. But it's left to the assembly to make sure that it is done. If the law has given me the power to move an excavator and go and demolish a building, I'm sure by now we would have demolished a lot of buildings.
Do you even have excavators?
No, we do.
You do?
We do.
Is it the ones they see from the Galamsey side, or you bought your own excavators?
We've had the excavators, so as far as I can remember, before I came into NADMO, we had quite a number.
So what happens in Kaswa? When it rains, do you go there as well?
Yes, Kaswa is not part of Accra.
I mean Weja.
Yes,
via national NADMO. So
yes, so that's what I'm saying. So if it's Kaswa, we deploy the central regional team with support from the headquarters to go and solve the problem. But mostly the problem is in Weja.
Is it the river?
It's not the Densu, it's the mountain that is the problem. Because that is where the sand washes down every time onto the road. So that is where we need to find a proper solution to that problem.
Is NADMO predicting doom there, or we are fine? Should we expect Sierra Leone there?
No, I pray we don't. Mm-hmm. I call that place a waiting disaster. I pray we don't. I hope we're able to put in measures quickly to resolve that problem than wait till it happens. And I'm worried a little bit because of the prediction by the Metro that if we are not careful, the first week of June, between the first and second week of June, which is the peak of the season, we might have the highest rainfall pattern we've ever had in 30 years. And that alone scares me. That we need.
That's a prediction?
That's a prediction from what I gather from my
Meteo. Which period in June?
The first and second week of June.
So from June 3rd?
No. June doesn't start on the 3rd.
I know. I'm just trying to remember June 3rd.
No. June. That's the peak of the rainy season.
So we should worry.
Yes, we should. And that's why I earlier on said we need to find a way of dealing with the filth.
You are scaring us.
I'm not scaring you.
Should we leave the country and wait till after June?
Go where? You want to go and live on the sea?
Togo or somewhere?
Togo is excluded. When the rainfall starts, when it starts washing down, it starts from Niger. It starts coming. It's walking its way from Benin. It starts walking its way. It goes through Togo. It sweeps this way and ends up in Liberia.
It starts from Nigeria and comes through Togo.
Yes. So nowhere cool.
Nowhere cool. What do we do?
So, as much as possible, I say we can't prevent. If we were in America, we would have said we can't prevent a hurricane from happening. They couldn't have prevented Katrina from happening. Mm-hmm. As developed as they were, they couldn't prevent Katrina from happening. They couldn't prevent the tsunami in Hong Kong from happening. But as much as possible, the impact of it on the citizens is what we always want.
Is NADMO ready to deal with the aftermath of that?
Oh yes, we're together with our agencies, collaborating agencies. So hopefully by the end of this week, we should be able to have a proper understanding of the role of the Ghana Armed Forces in terms of 48 Engineers Regiment, the police, the Marine Police, the ambulance service, the fire service, and NADMO in terms of preparation towards that. We already have an SOP that we work with, but we would enforce it and put more ink into it.
We need to go, but you're focused now on the floods, but you also have other disasters that you're supposed to be dealing with. So the tidal waves in the southern part of the country, in the Volta and Greater Accra regions. We also have communal clashes where you have to go and resettle people, where houses have been burnt, all of that. Are you losing focus on these because of the floods, or you're able to manage?
We're managing. That's why we have in excess of a huge number of staff. When we are decentralized, we're everywhere in the country, so we have a lot of staff.
Do you have money? Is the government giving money to?
Yeah, government is trying. Government is trying hard.
You are under-resourced, aren't you?
No institution is over-resourced. Even the Ministry of Finance itself is not over-resourced. So no institution can claim is well and good and fine with whatever he or she is getting. But government is trying its best to give us. And for your information, next month we are doing a full-scale 2 weeks of full-scale simulation exercise with all agencies that matter in this country in preparation towards an earthquake. So this is something we're doing, and we're going to do it for 2 continuous weeks. We are doing it together with the U.S. Embassy and the North Dakota team, the Marines from North Dakota. It's a joint effort between NADMO and them, and it's a full-scale 2 weeks.
Is it that we're expecting an earthquake, or we're just preparing?
It's just as part of the preparedness plan towards earthquake. If you remember, after the tremors, we had the president instructed for a general SOP to be put together. That SOP has been put together. So this is more or less testing a dry run of a test of that SOP to see whether it's more effective.
I want you to speak to anyone watching us now. If they notice a flood, or if they have to prevent a flood, what should they do? In 30 seconds, speak to Ghanaians.
Let us keep our filth properly. Let us not indiscriminately dispose of waste. We need to manage our waste properly so that we don't end up choking the very drains that are behind the house when we are unconsciously thinking that we are washing the waste down elsewhere. And also let us be aware of ourselves when the rains start. A rainfall pattern that goes beyond an hour. If you know you're in a low-lying area where it is flooding every day, every time, we'll beg of you, try and prepare to move out. Don't wait for NADMO. Don't wait for us to arrive first. After an hour of strong torrential rain, prepare for anything. Just try and put yourself in readiness to move out. Even if it takes 30, 20 minutes for you to stay away from your home, just to be safe and save a little of your properties, you can please do.
That would be it for Face to Face, an advice from a Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Abu Ramadan. My name is Umaru, Sanda. Amadu, this has been Face to Face. Please stay with Citi TV. We are the television channel you should stay with for coverage of this flood. It's not as if we are happy it is happening, but if it happens, we'll tell you how the story goes.